"I hope this is the place," he muttered under his breath, as he approached a door with a burly orc standing in the archway. "I ain't seen you before. Buzz off, twig. This place be for gentlemen only." The orc stared him down and took a step forward. He could tell he wouldn't be told again. "Raven under the moon," he whispered, taking a step back. The orc gave a quick grunt and looked him over again. Clearly annoyed, the orc spat on the road beside him. "Wait here," he said, walking into the door and slamming it shut. A few minutes passed and the door rattled open again. "Go on in, Twig. Boss be waiting for you at the back. Don't be talking to the other guests." The tavern was full of well-to-do men of the city, all wearing fine clothes and jewelry. He recognized a few of them from family portraits inside mansions he had seen during some big scores. The houses of nobles always had such great loot. "Welcome to the Silver Heart, my friend. Please sit and have wine with me," the boss said, ushering him over to a table with 2 glasses of wine waiting. "My friend, it's great to meet you. You have been highly recommended for the task at hand." They shook hands and sat together in a quiet part of the room. The boss raised his glass. "To our success." "My appreciation, sir. However, I do not drink on the job." The boss downed his wine in a single gulp. "Straight to business. I like that," he said with a wink. The night was bright with a full moon. After drinking a dark vision potion, he felt like he was walking around at midday. The manor was just as the boss had described it, including the 2 towering orc guards patrolling the grounds. Although the orcs had told the boss about the prize in the house, they were still being paid to guard the manor. He couldn't let them know he was there. He crept around the back to where he'd been told the kitchen door would be unlocked. Turning the knob, he slowly pushed the door open. He froze and listened carefully. From his pack, he took out some grease and applied it to the door hinges. He gave the door a small nudge. No sound. He continued to open it and slipped through. Moving softly, he knew where to go. He was here for one thing only: the raven. A prized treasure, the small statue was legendary in the Thieves Guild. There were 4 known versions, 3 were forgeries, and only 1 was real. The boss wanted this one and was willing to pay big. 1,000 gold for this job would set him up for a few years. He knew the statue was worth more, but finding a buyer would be a nightmare. He'd become a mark. He was happy with the bounty on this score. He could hear the lord of the manor snoring loudly. This is going to be easy, he thought, making sure to grease the door before entering. He crept toward the pedestal where the raven statue sat. Was this it? All this legend for such a plain bird statue? He put both hands on the bird and began to lift it. He felt a slight pull from the bird's leg. A small string was attached. Trap! He put the bird down and unraveled his kit. The trap was triggered by weight. He couldn't simply lift it. He found a candlestick holder, held it, cut the string, and tied them together. The trap was disarmed. He gently placed the raven into his bag and made his way back to the kitchen. He stepped swiftly out the kitchen door into a courtyard. Just as he started climbing the stone wall, 3 grizzled guard dogs began barking and running toward him from inside the courtyard. "Ha ha ha! Too late, doggies." The thief snickered, watching the dogs as he jumped over and out of their reach. "Ha ha ha! Not too late for us," laughed the 2 orcs waiting on the other side of the wall. "Nice work getting the bird. Boss sends his thanks and regards. Hand it over nice and slow and we'll kill you quick. Otherwise we're going to have a little fun before we end you." They had him cornered and overpowered. The thief pulled out his trusty dagger from his side and called the magic words, "Pugio Inanis." The pendant around his neck began to glow with a dark purple light and black smoke. His blade, too, began to glow with dark void power. "All right, looks like it's going to be the fun way." The orc laughed as he swung his great sword to kill. The thief dodged and stepped aside. The great sword clanged against the stone wall, burying itself into the rock from the power of the orc's swing. He dove at the orc while the sword was stuck, stabbing the dagger deep into his side. The power of the dagger blasted the orc into the other, toppling them both to the ground. The thief seized the moment and escaped, running as fast as he could into the darkness of the night.